Hello, good afternoon, students. My name is Shepulak Umar. I'm happy to have you on board. I'm here to teach you economics, but let me start with defining the subject. Economics has been defined by several scholars across the globe, among which are Professor Lionel Robinson in 1932. He defined economics as a science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. This definition is the most acceptable one by economists worldwide. So let me write down the definition so that I can analyze it easily. Now, based on this definition, let me underline the keyword that tries to uh, defines economics. One is human behavior. Economics is always identified as a social science because it deals directly with the human behavior, not like other natural and applied sciences that studies organisms like animals and other non-human creatures. But this one is trying to study how human beings interact with the resources. So that is why he said it tries to study human behavior. That is how people behave toward resources. His concern here is not how people relate among themselves, but how people are behaving or how people are utilizing resources in satisfying their needs. So he links the human behavior and the end. Here, what he means here by end is the want or the need of human being. This means what people try to satisfy on their daily basis. For example, people can get hungry, people can get sick, people may need to wear clothes. All these are considered to be human want. So how people behave toward gaining resources and satisfying this want or needs. So these are the ends. And the scarce means, what he means by scarce means is the things that human needs to satisfy their wants are always limited when compared to the when they are compared to the needs. For example, human may need money to eat food when they are hungry, but always this money is not in abundance in relation to the need, which is hunger. Then the last keyword here is alternative uses. So these resources that I have always been talking about is it has many purposes that can be used to satisfy the need. For example, money as a resource. People can use it to satisfy their demands. They can use it for transport, they can use it for shelter, they can use it for education, they can use it for medicine and other demands. So this is a brief definition of the subject economics. Then economics has basic concepts. That means the main things that make up the subject. One, needs. These are the things that human must have in order to survive. Otherwise, they may die, or even if they live, they will live uncomfortably. For example, food. People need food in order to survive. Or clothes. People always need clothes to cover their body so that they avoid being naked. And they need education. This is another need. A human being without education is like an animal behaving. So education is another need of a human being. Healthcare. Healthcare is yet another need of a human being because sometimes an individual may get sick. So there is a need to use a resource to satisfy this need. Then shelter. This is another need of a human being. No human being can live without a place to put in his belongings that include clothes and other worldly things that he may require. So shelter is a house, in fact, or a home where an individual will reside. So these are some of the needs that human being try to satisfy. So without satisfying these needs, a human may not think of having any other thing. These are the basic things that human being try to satisfy. So we can try to analyze the behavior of human being towards satisfying these needs. There are some people that when they have a resource, for example, they may have money. So in trying to satisfy these needs, despite the fact that they need to satisfy them in the first place before thinking of any other thing, they will go ahead and buy something that is not of necessity. So these things are considered to be necessities. The second basic concept of economics is want. So what we mean by want is the wish or desire of an individual to own something above the basic things that I have just mentioned. For example, a person may desire to own a mansion or to own a flashy car, but definitely an individual needs transport. So without a car or without a vehicle, he can transport, he can move away, he can move around. That is, he can use any commercial vehicle. So he doesn't necessarily need to have a car, but if he satisfies this need, he can go ahead. If he has something extra, he can go ahead to buy a vehicle. It doesn't necessarily mean a car. So that means a car here is considered to be a want. Then apart from car, then a human being may wish to have a jet. For example, if the person is rich enough, he can buy his own private jet. Then there is what we call gold jewelry. So this gold jewelry meaning that a human being may desire to have this gold jewelry, like necklaces or earrings or even rings, or even wristwatch, gold wristwatch. But does that individual need to wear it? No, it is not a necessity. But if he has satisfied his basic needs, he can go ahead and buy it. So this is the second basic concept of economics. The next one is scarcity. So what we mean by scarcity is the limitation of the resources used to satisfy human needs. There is no time when the resources that human beings need to satisfy their needs are equal to their demands. Always the demand is above the resources. For example, if you can check your account, for example, you will see that your money is always limited. But if you look at your need, you may say, oh, I need to buy this, I need to buy that. So when you use that money, you will just finish it without you knowing. So that scarcity means the limitation of the resource in satisfying human needs. Then, apart from scarcity, then we have choice. Choice is a decision making taken by an individual in selecting the most important need among several other needs. As an individual can make a list of his needs. So based on this list, he can identify which one is better than the other. So by identifying this, then he can go ahead in selecting the best one. So if he engages in selecting the more important needs than others, then he is engaged in choice. So choice is a decision taken by an individual in selecting the more important needs than others. We have scale of preference. Scalar preference is the arrangement of human needs in order of their relative importance. As I said, a human being can have a number of needs. If he is rational enough, he will arrange them in such a way that the more important one come at the top, then the less important one come at the bottom. So that is what scalar preference, that is the arrangement of human needs or want in order of their relative importance. Apart from scalar preference, then opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the need, is the human need or want selected at the expense of the other. As I said, if an individual makes a list of his needs or want, definitely he will select some and leave others. So the one that he left just to satisfy the other ones are called opportunity cost. For example, as an individual, maybe you can need to have a car, to have a house, to maybe to get married. These are your needs. So from these needs, you can decide, okay, which one can you go for and which one can you leave until you have another resource, then you satisfy the one that you left. So the one that you left, if you choose buying car and leaving buying house or getting married, that means the house and the wedding is the opportunity cost to the car. These are the basic concepts of economics. Now, as we have seen the basic concept of economics, there is one of them that we need to make a practical example of it so that it will be better understood. That is scalar preference. Scalar preference, as I said, is the arrangement of human needs or wants in order of their relative importance. So this tries to describe the rationality of an individual. If the individual is not rational, that is, he is irrational, he will put the one that he desires. Maybe he doesn't necessarily need them at the time, at the top, and leave others at the bottom. So he will suffer from his choice. Now, supposing that we have a student that he has the following needs. Now, this is the data that describes the need of a student. Now, we try to make a scalar preference and see which one is more important than the other. Now, if the student is rational enough, he will put the one that he needs more than others. Now, suppose this is the scalar preference of the student. So what we can understand here is the student is rational because as he's going to school, he needs an exercise book, he needs pen, he needs pencil, calculator, bag, socks, and he may need shirt and trouser, and finally bicycle. But if the student is not rational, he can take bicycle and put it here. But the student can go to school without a bicycle, but he must have an exercise book when he's going to school, and he must buy a pen. So that means these ones are more important than others. Even a bag, the student can have exercise book, pen, pencil, calculator, and without necessarily a bag, he can hold his books. So that means from here, the student needs are more important than others. So you can go without a bag, you can go without a socks, or even sandal. So the student can make a choice out of these things. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4 are the choice of the student, while the remaining ones are the opportunity costs of his scale of preference, because these ones are the ones that left unsatisfied while satisfying these 4 items. So this is a scale of preference of a student. So any individual can have his own scale of preference depending on his needs or wants and the available resources.